Hi there guys, welcome to my review of Street Fighter 2 V Episode 2. Now, this is an episode that's kind of interesting. It doesn't have a whole lot of story progression. It does have a key element in story progression, but it's not so much like, oh, hey, we've made a lot of progress. Um, as you remember in the first episode, we last left off against Guile. Ken and Ryu are in the bar, and then Guile comes in, and it cuts away at that. So right whenever you start up the episode, you continue to watch it, and Ryu steps up to the plate and fights Guile. He gets ready to do, I believe, a punch or something, and then Guile has a jacket on, and he punches, and basically Ryu just has his jacket in his hands. And he's ready to fight. They're both ready to throw down. And what's really cool is they say their first, swear in the film, which is, or in the film, I mean the show. They say, oh shit, or whatever. And anyway, they continue to fight each other, and, Guile gets a few hits in and knocks Ryu down. And everyone's like, oh, he got hit, and Ryu gets back up, and people are like, oh, wow, he's getting back up, and, Ryu's like, oh, well, it's going to take more than just one lucky punch to get me down, and so they continue to fight. Basically, Guile keeps knocking Ryu down, and, Ken's just sitting there, drinking his water, watching the fight. And yet again, Ryu continues to get up and wants to continue to fight. After that, basically what happens is, he gets a few good hits in, Ryu does, and then all of a sudden, Guile just, is tired of messing with it, and he just goes all out and just throws this big, huge combo on him, and finishes with a flash kick, which is that flip kick move in Street Fighter 2. And he ends up landing, and he's like, okay, it's over, and he tells his Airforce buddies, let's get out of here. And then Ryu still stands up. His face is like all swollen, his eyes are like all closed, he's bleeding, and, Guile's just like, you got guts, kid, and he just walks away, and then after that, Ryu falls down, and Ken goes to help him, feels bad that his friend got the crap beat out of him, and while actually he's getting the crap beat out of him, Guile goes up to Ken and says, hey, aren't you gonna, come in and fight instead of letting your friend get, the crap beat out of him? And he's like, well, we only fight one-on-one. So, I don't know. I really don't know what to say about that line exactly, but that's just what he said. So after that, Ryu's pretty badly banged up. I mean, he falls to his knees, and Ken catches him. Puts him on the back of his motorcycle, and they ride home. And I don't know if this is really relevant, but Ken asks him if he's ever seen a zombie movie, and he says no, and he's like, oh, well, you can watch that tonight, and I guess that was so he could just relax and watch a movie or whatever. The next morning, you get to see Ryu in the bed. I believe he's sleeping, and he's all patched up and banged up, and Ken isn't in the room, though. Ken is outside training, hitting a punching bag, I believe, and he's continuing to train, really hard, and he sits on the side, after training a bit, drinks whatever drink he's drinking, and yeah, then he gets to holding his towel, wiping the sweat off of him. Then he starts doing these towel motions where he's whipping the towel around, and he gets to thinking, how Guile just beat the crap out of, Ryu, and he just finds it mind-blowing, that he did that. So he doesn't go instantly right away. Instead, he just trains, to think about, what has happened. gives him time to rest up. Ken decides, hey, I'm going to go to the Air Force base and try and find, Guile. And so anyway, he's heading towards there. They actually deny him access into the Air Force base. And after that, he's rich. I think he just makes a phone call to somebody, and then I don't know if it was the main dude of the place. I don't know. But anyway, those guards are standing there, and they, get this thing. They get clearance from them and say, "Oh, okay, well, that's cool. You're Ken Masters. We're sorry to deny you access. Come on in." So he goes on in. He's trying to find Guile. He actually doesn't know his name at this point. And he's looking for him. He finds this receptionist lady, or it's just some military lady, actually. And they end up going out for coffee or something. Ken puts the charm on her. And they go out for coffee, I guess. And they're just sitting there having a casual conversation. And Ken looks over her shoulder at the table and sees that there's this newspaper, and it's got, this guy holding up a trophy, which is Guile. He goes up to him and reads the little article and, finds out the guy's name's Guile. He then leaves. Guile, is roughed up pretty bad from the other night, from fighting Ryu, at least. And he's in the weight room training with all of his Air Force buddies. And after that, Ryu Ken, comes in and basically just says, all right, it's time to finish what you started last night, and I gave you time to rest up. Let's fight. And, in front of his Air Force buddies and everybody, Guile Ken just fight each other. They're doing just regular martial arts, just regular fighting. And, Guile's pretty messed up still, from the alcohol and from, the fight from the other night. And so he's next to the sandbag, right? And he just rips this sandbag open with his hand. And while he's ripping it open, he has a handful of sand from it as well. And he just throws it in Ken's face. And he's like, hey, that's a cheap trick, And he's like, well, all's fair in a street fight. There's no rules in a street fight, kid. And then you just see him go, boom, and he punches him, and all you see is the aftermath of the fight, and then the camera scrolls into the room Ryu is staying in, and it shows Ryu petting that dog, and Ken is all, bandaged up in the bed, and I don't know, it was just kind of funny. And after that, he gets flowers from that chick, and, Ken starts to heal up after a while, and, he talks to Ryu and says, that guy's in a street fighting tournament, he's got way more experience, than fighters around here, and, I couldn't believe we both lost to him, and then they say that they want to go and travel the world and fight some of the world's best fighters. And then they take a plane, I think they take a plane to Hong Kong. And that's pretty much that episode, guys. There's really not much more left to say. So with that, I hope you guys all enjoyed that episode review. I know it may not have been, as intricate as maybe the first one, but I believe, I could be wrong, but I think this might be the last time we see Guile in the show. So, that's one other thing I should have mentioned in the first episode, is not every character you meet in this show is always staying in the show. Sometimes they get maybe an episode or two worth of appearance, and then they're done. So, that's really all I can say for this episode. So, guys, until next time, whenever I talk to you again for episode 3, I will see you then. So, again, thanks for watching, and hope to see you all with the next Street Fighter 2 V review. Thanks for watching.